Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty Show. It is Sunday afternoon, and we are going to go over the Giants' Week 4 standouts of spring training. The Giants have wrapped up their time in Arizona and are going to be heading back home. They are playing against the Sacramento River Cats, their AAA affiliate, today in Sacramento, and then they will be playing their 2 games against Oakland over the next 2 days on Monday and Tuesday before having Wednesday off. We'll have the final 26-man roster by Wednesday, and then opening day Thursday in San Diego. So we are coming up quickly on the season, only 4 days till the season opener. Now, keep in mind that we are recording this before the game tonight against the River Cats. So for those of you that may be tuning into this later, we won't have any of the numbers from that game for obvious reasons. So starting off with the position players, as always, we are going to go over kind of who stood out this week. So first and foremost, Luis Matos, another huge week. It feels like we've been bringing his name up every couple videos. That's because he's been that good in spring training. He has probably been their best player in spring training as a whole. 7 for 16, hit a home run. Had it on the video. We're going to put it up here again today. Another home run, double, walk, had a stolen base, did strike out 4 times. But yeah, I'm going to be highlighting the stolen bases on this one too, because obviously the team was just dead last in stolen bases this year. And we actually had a couple out of 3 of the guys we're going to name. So, but another big week for Matos. He's hitting 312 this spring, has over 1,000 OPS. There's a very strong chance, as we talked about yesterday, that he's going to end up being on the club. Hopefully he can force his way into a bigger role. Because I think with his upside, he has the potential to help take this team to, from really good to potentially like a real contender. Him and the next person on this list. Next person is going to be Marco Luciano, who I'm going to do his last 30 plate appearances. We brought it up yesterday and the one we recorded then. Well, now we can expand on that even further. Last 30 plate appearances, he's 9 for 22 with 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 7 walks, a sac fly, 2 stolen bases, and 6 strikeouts, which the strikeouts as a whole in spring training, he has 32% strikeout percentage. He's also he also has a 256 average and a 862 OPS as a whole in spring. So if the goal was just to see if he was ready, I think he has answered that call. He's kind of shown everything he is. He's made some really nice plays in the field. He's struggled a little bit in the field at times. I think at best he's probably going to be just like a league average defensive shortstop. My hope is that maybe they can, get what they can or establish the bat, I should say, and get the confidence there. He is comfortable at short, so I don't want to mess with his defense and start jerking him around, playing him different positions. So I think the best thing for him would be to play shortstop, live with the struggles a little bit there, and hopefully he let him establish the bat. Because if he can, you can potentially move him next offseason and go chase a guy like Ha-Seong Kim, or move him to third if Chapman is gone, or, there's a bunch of options there. But you could potentially move him off of shortstop next season. But yesterday in the game, he hit, for those of you that didn't see, he hit a ball off the scoreboard in left center field, almost hit his face on the scoreboard. Had Jung-Hoo Lee shook, who was giving an interview, his jaw about hit the floor watching it. I'm going to post that video up above me as well. And it's probably been the most impressive swing of spring training of any player. And, him and Jorge Soler might have some fun together hitting tape measure shots. So the talent is clearly there. The question with Marco Luciano is really just going to come down to, does he make enough consistent contact to be, for him to hit his ceiling, which his career, as we've brought up time and time again, he's always a slow starter and he always strikes out a bunch. And that strikeout percentage right now is being drugged down by that first 20 plate appearances, but he's at 20% over the last 30 plate appearances. So if he can just make the contact, we all see how loud the contact is. He hit it, he's had a couple doubles to right center field that have been impressive. The previous home run was to right center field. which, Oracle Park is going to eat up some of those, but he has power and loud contact to all sides of the field. Last year against the Padres, we saw him smoke a double down the right center or down the right field line. So he uses the entire field. The approach is there. He draws a ton of walks. He talked about in the game that he's trying to be a little bit more aggressive when he gets his pitches. So that's good because he's watched a lot of called third strikes. Actually watched two of them in the game before he hit that home run. Now, granted, that second at bat, watching the game, he kind of had to be like, what the hell? Because that pitcher made his three best pitches of the day in succession against him, where he like threw a backdoor curveball or slider to steal a strike, and then hit him with two painted changeups, basically. But in the next at bat, he got the fastball he was looking for, and he hit it a mile. So a lot of potential there. We'll see what they decide on him. I wouldn't be really shocked either way, but it just comes down to I can't help but think back to when Farhan Zaidi said, we're going to give him every opportunity to be the starting shortstop. And if they meant that, then he should be the starting shortstop, because that means it should have just been, is he ready or not? Because we all know what Nick Ahmed is. He's a glove first slap hitter that's going to be terrible offensively, and we're all going to want him gone in a month or two. So we'll see what happens. Exciting, though, for sure. I think he'll get his opportunity at some point this year, barring health. So next player on the list is the guy that Marco Luciano did have kind of in awe after that home run, is Jung-Hoo Lee. Didn't play a ton, but he went 4 for 6 with a double, a walk, and a stolen base. Had kind of a do-it-all game against the Angels, went 2 for 4, or I think it was 2 for 3 with a walk, and had a nice sliding grab as well that he made. I'm going to put both of those up here. He kind of did everything. And the play in center field wasn't some like insanely spectacular play, but he just looks comfortable. He looks smooth out there. The last couple of years, it's just been a lot of really bad defense in center field for the Giants. And he looks like a guy that's going to be really solid, and he could be really good. I mean, we all know what he did in Korea, winning 5 Gold Gloves in Korea, but he's going to be playing outdoors. San Francisco's tricky with the wind. We'll see kind of how he adjusts as they come back to San Francisco. But I do think with his range and his talent, like, it's going to give him an opportunity to showcase how good he can be. So we'll see how he does, but he had a really nice week here. So wanted to give him a shout out. Next player on the list is going to be the power hitting catcher, Tom Murphy. Went 6 for 11 with a home run, a double, and 3 walks. This is a guy that, I mean, they clearly didn't sign him for his glove, but he absolutely hit the snot out of the ball this week and had himself a nice week. Hit an impressive home run to left center field that would have been the most impressive swing of the day had Marco Luciano not hit one about 60 feet further. And had himself a nice week overall. He still struggles throwing the ball. I still don't like the fit. I'm sorry if you're a backup catcher or a catcher in general. I want a guy that's an above average glove, and he's pretty much terrible at all aspects. So not a fan of that, but he very well may be the backup catcher, and he's playing like he played this week, like a guy that felt like he had a little bit of fire under his butt from Joey Bart having a really nice spring. So kudos to Tom Murphy. Had himself a great week, especially at the plate. And the next guy on the list is going to be Mike Yastrzemski. Not overly huge week, but 3 for 10 with 3 doubles. And he had been kind of scuffling for most of spring, and he put together a nice week. So I wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out there. We're going to move on to the pitching staff that had good weeks. A couple guys had nice outings, but there was a lot of struggles overall in the pitching. If you kind of look at what they did, gave up a ton of runs. You've got guys like Logan Webb that gave up 9 earned runs. He really struggled in his outing. He's had a pretty rough spring, but I think I have confidence in Logan to figure it out. You know how pitchers a lot of times will be working on different pitches, maybe stuff that they don't throw a ton during the season. They'll go into outings and only throw one pitch or throw like primarily one pitch, just trying to work on it. So who really knows what's going on with him? But I'm sure by the time the season rolls around, he's Logan Webb. He'll be fine. Doesn't sound like there's any downticks in his velocity or stuff. So I'm sure he'll get it going once the season gets rolling, or they could be in a lot of trouble if he doesn't. But First guy on the list is the guy that I think is going to end up winning that job as the that second lefty reliever, and that's Juan Sanchez. Two more outings, went 2 1/3 innings, no earned runs, 4 Ks. Had himself another really good week. He's got a 1.8 ERA in spring, so I think he's probably won that second left-handed job. They already released Amir Garrett, who had a rough spring. Eric Miller got optioned to AAA, probably to work on his control. Ethan Small is injured. There's a lot. This guy kind of has the path cleared for him, so I think he's going to end up being the guy. Jordan Hicks had a nice outing, but I also wanted to kind of highlight one thing with that outing. He went 4 2/3 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Did have kind of a scary moment in that 5th inning where it looked like they came out to look at him, and I don't know if there's something going on with the mound. Everyone kind of looked at the mound, and then they went back in, but it kind of looked like he might have hurt something. But the thing I wanted to highlight was he threw 84 pitches, and yes, it wasn't the most efficient outing, but I kind of felt like this was going to be a guy they were going to be holding down to like 75 pitches, maybe trying to slowly build up his arm. But they let him go 84, so he may end up throwing more than we expect. But I do have concerns that his arm may not hold up if they just kind of try and cut him loose. And as somebody who's against, you know, treating all these pitchers and all these players with kids' gloves all the time, I still wonder with a guy like him who hasn't been throwing all those innings and those pitches. A guy like Mason Black has thrown 125 innings and has like the 5th most innings pitched of a minor leaguer since he debuted 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So, a guy like him, yeah, by all means, let him go. But Hicks, who's been never thrown more than 70 innings in a major league season, I have concerns. So we'll see, but wanted to point that out. Dalton Jeffries, 3 innings pitched, no earned runs, 5 Ks, and a walk. I think he's pretty much locked down one of those long reliever spots. He could be this year's Jacob Junis, essentially. Had himself an excellent spring, and it just seems like every time he goes out there, he chucks 3 or 4 innings and doesn't give up any runs or gives up 1 run and just has a really solid outing. So give him a shout out. That's a guy that's probably won a job in a roster spot, and they're going to have to create one because he was a non-roster invite. So they're going to have to add, clear someone off the 40-man. Joey Bart's a candidate. Austin Slater, if he gets 60-dayed, is a candidate. They have guys, same with like Nick Ahmed, who's probably going to make the team. But Landon Roop, another guy I feel like I've pointed out a few times now. Just another 3-inning start, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. Another guy that just keeps dealing when he's given his opportunities, and he hasn't pitched above Double-A, and I'm not sure he needs to be ready for the majors. His stuff probably could play right now. I think he's also a candidate to be one of those last reliever spots, along with Jeffries, and those guys could end up being kind of your long relievers. Now, a lot kind of depends on the health of Keaton Winn. It sounds like Blake Snell is going to be making a start in the minors today, as well as the Friday. He's going to be starting the minors, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's on I don't know if they'll put him on the 10-day IL or if they have to do something to give him a little time. But so these guys could, a guy like Roop could end up on the roster initially and then put back in AAA. The thing is, though, is he's not on the 40-man. Neither is Mason Black. So these are both guys that are going to have to they're going to have to clear a spot for if they are going to bring them onto the active roster. So those are all I have for this week. This will be the last one of these, and then we're going to get, going into the regular season, and we'll kind of see how we decide to format everything there. Like I said, I'm going to do the minor league updates on Mondays. Beyond that, we're just gonna play it by ear. And as always, if you guys like the material, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Still getting tons of support. Appreciate all of you guys. But other than that, we'll catch you next time. Go Giants.